Case number 25JAN2019, name Rogue Empire Dungeon Crawler RPG. Rogue Empire is a tactical turn-based RPG with randomly generated content and heavy roguelike elements. Choose one of multiple character combinations and advance it with unique abilities. Embark on a quest to heal the 5 kingdoms and understand the mysteries of the First Shadow. Such is the pledge of the developer. Let the judgment begin. Before we start this process, I would like to point out that I have been given the key for this game by the developer, for which I am thankful, and big kudos to Felfing as well for organizing this. That of course means I'm obliged to to judge this game as any other with no bias whatsoever. Let's start as usual with the story. Story sucks like Tau in melee combat. It's your classic run-of-the-mill setting of darkness came out of nowhere and you are the only one who can save the world, Quite disappointing, and my guess is the story here is just a placeholder and not really important part of the game. Still, it's a shame because for me personally good story is what keeps me playing, as I want to know more. When there is no story, chances are I will never finish the game. I just need at least something, and Rogue Empire definitely doesn't have it. Graphics are surprisingly good and a pleasant surprise. As this game is a one-man project, I was expecting the usual pixel art graphics, but instead we have these beautiful hand-drawn characters and surroundings. Finally, a game where the developer forked out some Tron geld and hired a professional artist. And for the record, you nerd, I do not consider this a pixel art graphics. I know that zooming in shows some pixels, but here's the news. When you zoom in anything, it shows pixels, even AAA titles. So what I consider a pixel art are games like Undermine, Children of Morta, Lovecraft's Untold Stories, and so on. Animations here are sparse but present and gives the game the feel of being made in 2019 rather than 1990, which is a good thing. Music is good, and once again you will hear professional licensed tracks instead of the usual like in so many low-budget indie games. Another pleasant surprise. Sounds are fitting, although very sparse, and another surprise is professional voice acting. Whether it's intro or a couple of random sentences throughout the game, they were done by hired professionals instead of using laptop microphone and family members to get it, so another big kudos to the developer for going the extra mile. Atmosphere is one of nostalgia, as this game feels like the classic old-school roguelike game that pulls no punches. If you are boomers like me, it will bring you back to the days when games were hard and this genre was very popular. As for the new kids on the block, they may get a bit confused and glance over this game, but such is the Emperor's will. Overall, gameplay is really good. In a true roguelike fashion, the game makes you want to play more and to attempt that infamous one more run. As you play, you collect soul essence, which can be later used to permanently boost your stats and help in your next playthrough. But with an option to turn these bonuses off if you feel like challenging yourself, which is a really nice touch. At the start of your run, you can choose one of the 7 races and 5 classes and combine them in whatever way you wish. Troll Mage? No problem. Dark Heroes DLC brings extra race and 2 new classes into the mix, Necromancer and Soul Reaver. You can choose to play a pre-made adventure that teaches you the ropes, main campaign, or dark dungeon where you just try to survive as long as you can. And for those extra tough players, you can add timed mode where enemies move after a certain period of time has passed instead of waiting for your turn. Each playthrough is randomized in terms of choosing your skills after each level up from 3 different options, ensuring tons of replayability and bringing a little bit of RNG spiciness to the game, which some people will hate, but it is the root of every true roguelike. All controls are customizable, although you have to do it outside of the game by clicking the Input tab when launching the game. Honestly, I didn't see this in games since 30 years ago, but at least we have that option, which can't be said about most of the AAA console port titles these days. Old school players can play this game with just the keyboard, as everything you ever need can be bound to a key, or you can just use your mouse if you fancy that approach. It's all up to you. Mechanics in Rogue Empire are simple and easy to grasp, but to get to the end game they require full proficiency. because do not be mistaken, graphics may look like this is an easy game for kids, but it is definitely not. Throughout the game you have to manage your resources like health and mana regen, soul harvesting if you play Soul Reaver, and hunger. Food can perish over time, so stocking up on fresh produce is not the best way to go, and of course there is the ever-present shadow engulfing the world in its dark embrace. As I mentioned before, each race has its own traits, and each class comes with a wide range of abilities, some of them shared across the board, some of them unique for each class. Every level up gives you opportunity to increase your selected stat, and depending on your build you choose the best option. Speaking of builds, there is numerous viable options how to level up and utilize your character, from hardcore min-max guides up to the fun ones, which adds so much fun to the replayability of this game. On top of that, we have procedurally generated dungeons, and story objectives are also randomly moved around the map with each playthrough, so you have to have a look around every time you play, which is perfect. And holy Emperor's basal ganglia, you can wear 10 rings! Finally, someone! I have been always wondering why games let you use 2 to 4 rings as accessories while we have 10 fingers. Most of us. Should be a gaming standard to have 8 to 10 rings, because don't tell me, if you had 8 magical rings, you would only wear 2 of them. So I am glad someone finally brought this to life. Portal Games, thank you! One final word before we go to the verdict. People on stream have been asking me if I ever played Tales of Maj'Ajal or some Dungeons of something. Apparently these games are very similar to Rogue Empires. And yes, I played Tales of Maj'Ajal, and while there are similarities, so there are similarities between any classic FPS shooters. And no, I did not play the DOTA or whatever that other game is called, but I remember googling some pictures and it did look similar. So if you play those games, it is up to you to decide whether to give Rogue Empire a try. My dear battle brothers and sisters, after 12 hours of gameplay I can confirm that this game has passed the purity standards, and I do recommend it to be enjoyed by the loyal citizens and heretics alike. If you like old school roguelike RPGs and are craving that nostalgic feel, or are just curious about how things were in the good old days, I highly recommend you this game, as well as the Dark Heroes DLC. This one-man project is a clear product of love and passion for the games, and at the time of making this video, the developer is still taking on feedback, fixing any reported bugs, and is working on the next free content addition for this game. What more can we ask for? You can show your agreement or disagreement with my ruling by giving this video a thumb up or down and telling me what you think in the comment section. Click the subscribe button to fulfill your duty to the Imperium, and click the bell button so you won't miss my next video. I will see you at the next ruling, and as always, the Emperor protects.